Well, you know, a lot of people are talking about District 31 and 32 going to play each other in the 6As, Class 6As. Jake, at the beginning of the season, a lot of people in 31 were talking about Weslaco and East. What are they talking about now?
Oh, they're talking about Weslaco and East because they're the only teams that, I don't want to say lived up to the billing, but PSG North came up. You know, they surprised a lot of teams.
Here.
Yeah, but Weslaco East, they've been matching each other all season.
They rose to the occasion, and now they play off at Bobby Lackey Stadium on Friday. Boy, don't you know there's going to be about 14,000 screaming idiots in the stands? That's awesome, man. I might be one of them. In fact, I was about to say, I probably will.
Yeah. But, you know, and look, there's no better venue to watch a game right now.
Best stadium in the Valley.
Yeah, and, you know, every seat's a good seat. But both teams, I mean, they're not going to throw the ball much.
Probably not. I predict that a pass will be not the deciding factor in the game, but a big factor. And I keep coming back to my guy, Brian Guerra, for Weslaco. That guy is a playmaker, and he can get downfield, and he'll come with a pitch. I wonder if he can throw. We were joking a little while ago, maybe Lupe Maron is going to take the Wildcat snap, go back like he's going to throw the pass to Rivas, and then run the ball for 80 yards.
Yeah.
It could happen, right?
Yeah, and the thing about this Weslaco East team is, look, I talked to Coach Brigette. He says they do a lot of passing in practice. They spend a lot more time than what people think.
Right.
They just don't do it in the game because they don't. I don't think
they don't have to. Yeah, well, they've had such good running backs for the last 10 or 12 years that, I mean, you know, it'd be crazy to pass with Andrew Alvarado in the backfield, you know, or Lupe Maron or whoever, right?
Yeah.
So.
And when you have a Rivas who can also run, you know, I mean, you can run little QB delays, everything with him.
So I think going into the ball game, which will decide the championship, not the seedings, they're set for those two teams. One's big, one's small. It will decide the district championship, and Pride and Weslaco, I guess you give the edge to East because they have the more experienced quarterback. That's the only thing I can see when I'm breaking down the game where they might have a slight edge. Yeah, and I would say it's not slight, it's probably reasonably.
And we were worried about what Weslaco would look like without Desi.
And it did good.
And they did pretty well against Economides.
Yeah.
You know. Look, their defense is playing a whole lot better than it did at the beginning of the year when they're getting torched by Harlingen South.
Yeah, they had some big days. Right, yeah, they did.
You know. Now their corners are stepping up. They're able to lock down a little bit more on the
Andre Galindo. Andre Galindo is the name to remember. 21. That guy's I saw him. He had 12 tackles. He's a pretty hard hitter. No, they've getting a lot of good play all over that defense, man. They really are. That big front line.
You got Nichols. You know.
Yeah, I love Nichols. Nichols is great.
And they've got big interior guys. They've got big outside guys. They can pretty much mix it up with Weslaco East.
What are they going to do? How are they going to stop Lupe Maron? Because nobody's managed to do it so far. I'll tell you what, their linebackers are fast and they pursue and they get in the gaps and they get there in a hurry. They're going to have to hit him before he gets going, because once he gets going and he gets going fast, he's going to go.
He had some fumbling issues against Edinburgh.
Is that right?
This week he had a couple fumbles, but I just think that it was almost for the entire team. And Coach Burgett wasn't very happy with it, with their performance. But I just think it was a letdown game for them because they just didn't. Look, they won big, but they didn't win.
No, it was 14-14, right? A couple of touchdowns to John Murillo. You keep an eye on that underclassman for the Bobcats. He ain't bad.
And I think, you know, right now, Angel and the quarterbacks for Edinburgh have almost tied, I think, the passing touchdowns last year. So, you know, I mean, so it's not like they had a bad year. They just didn't have the talent that they had the year before.
That's right. Let's stay in Edinburgh now. We talked about the so-called Tanako Bowl. Let's talk about Edinburgh North, because they've had 5 games decided by a total of 11 points. So they're Cardiac Cougs, man. They go to overtime and they win at the end of the game. They drove down after they lost the lead to PSG Memorial, kicked a field goal with 13 seconds left. They clinched a playoff spot the next night when the Jags lost, and so North will be in. And it looks like if things shake up the way we think they're going to get a rematch against those Fresnos in the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, and here's the thing, too. Economides doesn't want to lose to North, but they also don't want to be tied for the last place.
That's right. You go to the bottom if you lose. And the Jags still have talent. They got pride. You know, the thing is, they're playing against teams like Weslaco and Weslaco East, man. That's hard to do.
Yeah. But this is one of those rivalry games. And, you know, it's like when Edinburgh plays Edinburgh North. It's always a close game, at least for a while. I actually like Economides in the game just as far as physicality. I think that they're going to bump with Edinburgh North, and Edinburgh North has some injuries, some players that have. They've had a lot of shakeup. They've had a lot of shakeup on that team. But let me tell you, Whiteside's old Crazy 8, he had a big game the other night, 223 yards. Martin Rodriguez went the whole way at quarterback. North had the lead against PSG Memorial most of the way. The Wolverines, as they've done all year, scrapped back into it, and the North won at the end. So the game means nothing in the playoffs, but it means everything in town. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, we don't have cool name like the Tanaka Bowl, but
No,
you
what
know.
should we call it? I don't know. We'll have to think of something without being
Kitty
vulgar.
Cat Bowl.
Kitty Cat Bowl. That's
But yeah,
This
yeah,
guy.
nothing macho about that.
No,
but,
not.
But no, look, I like that game just for the sheer fact that
That's gonna
there
be
should be
fun.
some hard hitting.
Yeah, there's going to be hitting. Man, see, even though North has lost some guys on defense, they still have some hitters. They're giving up a lot of yards.
Yeah.
Here's the bad matchup if you're North. They're giving up what 376 yards a game. That's like almost 3 times. It is 3 times more than last year.
Mm-hmm.
They've managed to get it done because they've made some big plays. Look for Michael Cantu to get back into the action against PSJ Memorial. He had 4 catches for only 6 yards. They didn't get him the ball. He didn't return kicks because I think the Wolverines were smart enough to kick away from him. So when he gets involved in the game, good things happen for the Cougars.
Yeah, and the one thing is their time of possession with the ball is not the same either. They don't have a line that grinds it out.
They're getting there. The line, I think Coach Sines says that the line is improved. They started the season with only 1 or 2 guys who'd been in the game. They're veterans now, and they're doing a decent job. They run for 334 against PSJ Memorial, so that's if they can get that total this week, they'll be in good shape. I think the Jags are going to run pretty well against them.
Yeah.
So this should be a good ball game. What else do we got in that district?
Last one is PSJ North and Edinburgh High. It's a Thursday game. Edinburgh's going in. They've been able to stop the run this year pretty well. It's a little bit different. Their corners are going to have to step up, and PSJ North is going to. They're going to run what George Pena loves to do, which is you never know if he's going to pass.
I know, right? George Olivares is a good player. Now the Raiders, at the beginning of the season, they were comeback kids. They fell short a little bit. Then they got on a roll. We thought, boy, they're going to win the district. Now they're going to get in. If they win, they get in. They're 4-2. It's going to be a problem. They're going to probably end up playing San Benito, I think. Mm-hmm. And I remember when they played San Benito back in 2004. Remember that when Randy Reza was a quarterback? They beat them like something to nothing. It was 41-0 or 34-0. Anyway, so let's transition down to the Southland. Where the race is a whole lot more interesting.
What a great district, too. At the beginning, we always make fun of this district.
Yeah, these guys, it's Harlingen and who else? Well, it's Harlingen and a lot of teams that are pretty good.
Yeah. And there's a team that I don't think anybody would have looked at the beginning of the season. We kind of called it a couple of weeks ago. Rivera has come on strong.
Equipo de sorpresa es de Rivera, los malosos de Rivera. I feel like I'm on a soccer show. It's great. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, right. Subtitulados is what I'm saying. Hey, man, Rivera's crazy, though. They can win a share of the district title, or they can be out. What a crazy thing.
Yeah, it's a nasty place to be in for them because you've done everything possible
won
to
4 in
get
a row.
yourself back into the game.
Yeah.
And then, wait, what are you saying? 1 game? That's it?
Yeah.
One and done.
Make or break,
Yeah.
right? Because what happens is the team, if they lose to San Benito, which is inherently possible, although the Greyhounds did get beat last week, they lost to the South, and that's why I think that Rivera is going to have a hard time. Because that was the trap game. This is not the trap game. This is the we can clinch the district championship game. San Benito will be ready to play. Vets will probably make it because Vets going to beat Lopez. They'll be 4-3. If Rivera loses, they'll be 4-3. 42-24 earlier in the season. Yeah, Rivera got beat by Veterans, and so the team that's going right now scored 6 points in 2 games. If they win against Lopez, they're probably going to make it.
Now, they did play really well last week. They played Hannah.
Yeah. Who Rivera 36-0.
Rivera,
That's right.
They won 36-0. Elizondo, accounted for
5 touchdowns. He had 4 rushing and 1 passing. Let me tell you about this guy. He's not the uber accurate passer that, say, Andy Lopez is for Hannah. Lopez 70%. Danny's only about 49%, but he's a playmaker. And he makes things happen, man. He'll break out of something and he'll get it done. And when you got Edward Rubio, man, I love that guy. That's one of the best receivers in the Valley. Their defense is underrated, I swear. It really is, man. This kid Velasquez had a couple interceptions. I've always thought Chris Godoy was a good player. Rivera has only given up like 250 a game, 230 a game. So now they're a legitimate team, but they're going to have a hard match against San Benito. If they win, they're in.
Yeah, and you know what? San Benito's shown that they're very vulnerable right now.
Right, they lost. They lost to South, a losing team, or so-called record losing team.
Yeah, and in South, you'll see the highlights as we're talking about it. They played well. I mean, they were able to throw the ball. They played some good defense.
Abraham Gutierrez is the other quarterback. Jimmy Morton's still hurt. So, hey, man, look, with a program like that, with kids who have pride, that was their moment to improve because they lost. They got woken up. Oh, my God. I think that Harlingen South probably shot its bolt, as they say in military terminology, and they go into the Bird Bowl, and I think Harlingen is going to take it to them. I'm not trying to say I want that to happen, but I feel like that's going to happen.
Yeah, and it scared Harlingen to know that South could do that.
What? They beat San Benito? We didn't. There's all kinds of forum talk about that too. That's good stuff, man.
By the way, there's a story that's on the website by Eladio. He's starting his own blog on the site.
Is that right?
He talks about kind of the formation of the Bird Bowl, how people didn't want it, but now they love it.
Well, they didn't want the split, I'll tell you that, man. They fought that like crazy, like Westlake did, man. Westlake had about 10,000 students, like a junior college up in Austin. They didn't want to split that thing. Edinburgh, I don't know, can't remember if they won to split or not, but can we quit making high schools here?
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, 5 is going to be too many.
Five
We're
is coming.
going to have our own district.
Yep.
All right. Well, so here's the recap. It looks like if San Benito wins and wins the district title, it'll be 6-1. Los Fresnos and Harlingen are probably going to win. I say that probably. Who knows? Los Fresnos plays Hanna. Hanna got Lucas Olivares hurt. That's a problem. They got beat 36-0. If Los Fresnos and Harlingen both win, they'll be the big school representatives. Who will be the first place seed? The Falcons. Because you remember, 35-23, they beat the Cardinals, right? So that way you're looking at Harlingen against Weslaco, another rematch. I know, it's going to be a great game because both teams are way improved. Remember at the beginning when they played, it was like these two rumbling, fumbling, bumbling, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Now they're both playing like they're used to playing, and so when that game comes, if it does, that's going to be great. That's a great first round game. The only one I can think that might be better in the playoffs is ECAT Sharyland if that happens. Oh my goodness. Gosh.
And we've got, who does Los Fresnos play?
Los Fresnos play Edinburgh North, the team that they had a 19-0 lead on, ended up losing 22-19. I feel like Los Fresnos is better than it was at that point. And I don't know about North. I really don't. I remember one year that they played and Los Fresnos beat them 70-21.
Yeah.
Remember that? But then North kicked their butts the next year. They had back-to-back games. Remember that? It was Marco Adriana, a little skinny guy, the track guy, and boom, he was gone. You know?
Yeah, those are and those were great games.
Oh, those are great teams.
Yeah, opposite effect both years. You know, but what's weird about this district is that last year 32-5A beat all 31-5A. I wonder if that's going to be the trend this year.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean,
I don't know if anybody beats Weslaco East.
I don't know. It'll be Rivetta or Vets against East, and if anybody can figure out a way to stop Marone, then let me know.
Yeah.
Because he is one of the best backs in South Texas. He really is, man. I'm telling you. So, no, the playoffs are looking good. The playoffs are going to be looking good in the 5A league. We just can't figure out who's going to be in what because there's a lot of stuff to be decided in 5A, and we're going to talk about it in a minute.